What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Triple H podcast. Happy Hour Hoops. Steve, Jake, and myself back with you talking college ball and NBA today, guys. We got a little Final Four preview, a big MVP discussion that will probably turn into a bit of an argument. That'll go back to a discussion that might go
What?
into some harsh words because it is a crazy time of year. Another tight MVP race, another controversial MVP race, I would say. But we got it all for you guys, gentlemen. How we doing? We're gonna start with the Final Four preview because March has been madness, and now we're in April, and we're at the Final Four, fellas. How we feeling?
It's been a pretty good tournament so far. Let me say that it's been an entertaining tournament. I'm feeling good. I'm really looking forward to this Final Four. All four teams have just kind of been electric this tournament in their own way. And we'll dive into that. But I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, it was kind of a chalky tournament, not as chalky as I think we all predicted. The first two rounds were very chalky, but we saw Florida go down to Iowa. We'll talk about the the Duke UConn game, but now we got a Final Four of four teams that I think any of these four are capable of winning the championship. So I'm excited for the Final Four, and I'm also excited to defend my guy Luca later for getting just robbed of another MVP. Thank you, NBA media. So I'm fired up. I'm fired up this week, Dunny. I'm fired up.
Oh yeah, baby. How we
Lot,
feeling, Jake?
lot of juice, a lot of juice. I like that. We're gonna have a good time today, Steve. I'm doing great. This has been a great tournament. Uh, Steve said it well there. I mean, we got an all time game too, an all time moment with UConn and Duke. Like I think we're gonna like always remember where we were when we watched the game or saw the highlight or however you experienced that game and that ending. Like it was a special moment. It was a great Elite Eight, Sweet 16 weekend for sure, just across the board. Some really high level games there, really great atmospheres. It was brought you everything you wanted, like out of a college like atmosphere too. Like it was so much fun with Nebraska's fans traveling down for that game and just like the environment there. It really just was. It's been a really. I think if you're complaining about this tournament, like no Cinderella, whatever else. Like I don't know. Like this is it was been great basketball, great games. Like you said, Steve, there's been some surprises. We didn't just get four number one seeds like we thought was possible. There are two on one side, but that happens a lot. But we have some intrigue here. You have a legacy story here going on with UConn now at this point that gets really interesting. That honestly I think is the story. Regardless of the number one seeds in Illinois is obviously a fun story that I'm experiencing personally too and everything. But UConn, bro, like that's the story to me is if they go in and win this natty after we were not. Like Steve, I remember you being like, I don't want to pick this UConn team. Like I don't want to deal with that. Like, and that's how a lot of people felt. So it's crazy like where we're at with this tournament and what's on the line now. But I think it's delivered in every step of the way.
Yeah, I think I can put my hand up here, and I learned my lesson on not doubting a UConn team come March anymore, a Dan Hurley led UConn team, because they've been electric. UConn the past 4 years now improves to 17-1 in March Madness. That's a stat that shouldn't make any sense.
17-1, bro.
And you make a good point, Jake. If UConn does run the table and win another one here, we're talking dynasty.
Yeah.
Genuinely, and no one even mentioned that at all. But we're literally talking a dynasty, 3 and 4 years, and the only one they didn't win was when they lost to Florida, and that was a close game, and they weren't supposed to be in that game. Florida was beating up everybody last year, and they gave Florida probably one of their toughest fights of the entire tournament. So yeah, I mean it's crazy. You know, I watched this UConn team in the regular season and a down Big East, and I couldn't. You know, I didn't fall in love. Like Carabin was kind of their biggest offensive guy, and Solo Ball was a little inconsistent. Terrace Reed was good.
Monster.
Did not look like the Terrace Reed of these 4 games in March.
No.
I mean, this guy's been an absolute monster. He had 27 rebounds in the first game of the tournament. He's been their go-to guy. He's just been an absolute monster on the offensive glass. And then we got Braylon Mullins, where, the shot is one of the craziest shots I think we've ever seen. That final possession is crazy.
Go down in history,
Uh,
man.
Yeah,
but
man.
we're also talking about this UConn team was one of 19 from three-pointer. They were one of 19 from three, just until about 5 minutes to go in the second half. And everyone talks about the Braylon Mullins three. How about talking about the Caravan three? Coming off the screen, looked like a prime Klay Thompson there. And by the way, he was 0 of 6 before he made that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to have the confidence to still shoot that to get you back in the game, it's hard to have a comeback. It's even harder to have a comeback in March and to be down, 19 points, I think it was 1 point against this Duke team. And this is such a tough Duke team to come back against because they play slow, because they're so big, because it's so hard to find consistent scoring opportunities against this Duke team. And to come back the way they did, man, I mean, like I said, hand up. I have learned my lesson. And I do not care if next year's tournament UConn comes in looking like the worst UConn team we've seen. If UConn is in the field for March Madness, I'm no longer doubting. Them. How can you? How can you? I mean, they looked great against Michigan State as well, right? They looked great against UCLA. Obviously, I think Furman gave them a tougher game than expected in the first half.
Yeah.
But this is a team that just knows how to win and has just got better as every single game went on. And they gave us an epic March Madness moment. We got about 40 Dan Hurley clips, which were just epic too from that game. But like I said, I can't doubt this team anymore. How can you?
Yeah, you bring up a great point about Duke too, the pace of play, the size, and then the biggest thing for me too is like all tournament long, Duke had these slow first halves and then really came along in the second half, and that's kind of when they did their dominating. And in the UConn game, it was a completely flipped on its head. They looked lost in those last like 2-3 minutes there, where sure they were holding the lead, but if you were a Duke fan, and I'm not a Duke fan per se, but I did have them in my personal bracket to go all the way. And watching that game, I was like, oh my God, they are letting this slip away. And that's exactly what they did. All UConn needed was a couple shots to fall, and then then they needed a grace of God shot, but they got it because Duke, whether people want to put all the blame on Boozer or not, they had a timeout as well. So they could have collected themselves. Like, it was a double coaching and players mishap there. So yeah, UConn, and that, like Steve said, Hurley with the headbutt on the ref or any of the other shit. His suit jacket hanging half off his body while his glasses are all messed up. I mean, guy's an absolute psycho, but he belongs in the sport, and UConn is for real, man. If as if we didn't already think that. They just, if there's a will, there's a way for UConn. And then, the Arizona-Michigan matchup's going to be amazing too, because, say what you want about Purdue, they were rolling all tournament long, and then, big bad Arizona came along and was like, nope, this is our game. This sounds kind of mean, but I'm just full honesty, I'm just glad that Oscar Clough's out of the tournament, man. I don't think I could watch Purdue for another game, even though they're balling. I'm glad it's Arizona, Michigan, and that's going to be an incredible matchup.
Two best teams all year, right?
Yeah.
We talk about, how dominant both of those teams were out of conference, how Arizona, Michigan were beating other good teams out of conference by 30, 40 points. And now we get a Final Four matchup with those two. And, as much, and we'll talk about Illinois too. I don't want to disrespect Illinois because they've been as impressive as anyone. But if we're talking about the two teams that kind of looked the most dominant in this tournament so far, it's been Arizona and Michigan. I mean, Michigan scored over 90 points in every single game in this tournament. And honestly, if they didn't, kind of take their foot off the gas, probably could have scored 100 in all 4 games. I mean, this is a Michigan team that they absolutely embarrassed a St. Louis team that was one of the best teams all year long and a great scoring team. And it's like, you just can't score with us.
The size was crazy.
The size,
too. Yeah.
too many options on offense. I mean, even in their first round against Howard was shooting lights out from 3 in the first half, and they still couldn't score with this Michigan team. I was at the game. Howard's about 65% from 3, and they're still trailing against this Michigan team. And it was just, so impressive to watch them. And then you have the Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight. I mean, guys, what Michigan did to Tennessee in the Elite Eight was one of the most embarrassing Elite Eight games, I've seen, where Tennessee, about 5 minutes into the game, and Tennessee had a great tournament coming into that game, didn't look like they belonged on the court. You don't have enough answers for Michigan's offense, especially when you have Mara going, you have Lendenberg going, when you have Cadeau going, when you have Roddy Gale coming off the bench, and he's a spark plug. Like, there's not enough answers for this Michigan offense. And like you said, Jake, they just have the size, and they've been so dominant. Alabama, another example. Alabama, high flying offense. They want to play fast. Michigan's like, all right, we'll play your style, and you have no chance.
Yeah.
And then you got Arizona doing the same thing, though, right?
Yeah.
To an Arkansas team that everybody loved with Darius Acuff. Arizona's like, nah, like we'll play that style. We'll play chaotic. We'll play fast, and you have no chance against us. Purdue, you have no chance against us with our side. And it's been so impressive to watch both these teams. I'm a little bit upset that this isn't the national championship, because I truly do believe that these have been the 2 best teams all year, that these are the 2 best teams right now, that these were the 2 best teams that's shown so far through the 4 games they've played in the tournament. But guys, I mean, Saturday night, don't make any plans. Saturday night, 8:40, 9 p.m. tip, probably going to be pushed back to like a 9 p.m. tip. We could potentially have one of the best college basketball games, not only of the year, but of probably the past 10, 20 years, where I think there's 2 teams here that they aren't going to be capable of getting blown out. They have so many options offensively. They're both so good defensively, and they have so much size. And I can't wait to see, which team prevails. I know we picked Michigan as the champs in our bracket. I've been on Michigan for a long time now, and it's about the only thing I really nailed coming into this tournament was this side of the bracket, right? That Arizona and Michigan were eventually going to meet up in the Final Four. But I'm just excited to see how this game is going to unfold, because these are 2 of not only the best college basketball teams this year, but 2 of the best college basketball teams we've seen ever in terms of the metrics, in terms of everything. So I just can't wait. And it's going to be, I think, just hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, right? I don't want to jinx it and have 2 20-point blowouts. But I think hopefully this could shape up to be one of the most memorable Final Fours.
Both spreads are 1.5. Illinois 1.5 point favorite, Michigan 1.5 point favorite, and that's probably, both those points are like, well, these games in Indianapolis, so your fans are probably more going to be here than anybody. Like, there's going to be a large Michigan and Illinois contingent sent upon Lucas Oil Stadium there. But about the Michigan Arizona game, did you see that there's going to be a Fab Five alternate cast with the Fab Five all together on screen watching the game?
I did not see that. That's incredible. That is incredible.
I never would have imagined you'd see something like that for content. But
I'll tell you what. If this Michigan team cuts down the nets, you might be able to have the conversation.
Yeah, maybe.
They got to do it. They obviously got to win it all. But from the season they had, right, leading up to now, the dominance they have had from
they would be 37-3.
37-3. Their only losses were a neutral court game to Duke, where they had their worst shooting game all season long. I think it was Wisconsin Miracle Guards takeover at home, where I think Wisconsin beat them by 3, and then the Purdue Big Ten championship. But we talked about it. I know it's the postseason Big Ten championship. That's not the same Michigan team it looked like in the tournament. That game, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know,
They
man.
took that night off. And
Yeah, I
They
think
were
they
the
were just like,
regular
we're
season.
good.
They had their regular season
Yeah.
Big Ten title. They were focusing on the bigger tournament. And man, I'll tell you what, like I've watched all 4 games of Michigan. I was lucky enough to be at the first round matchup and just to watch that team in person. I was even more fortunate enough to be about 5 rows up from the Michigan bench. I actually got tickets in the Michigan like a fan section, right, with all the parents and everyone, and was able to watch this team up front and close. And dude, I mean, it's just they were just so much fun to watch. They're just bigger, they're just stronger, and now they get to play an Arizona team that pretty much has been the exact same all year long. The only difference is Arizona doesn't like to shoot the 3, and it doesn't matter. They don't care.
Arizona's 2 losses back to back at Kansas, home to Texas Tech by 4 and 3 points.
Yep, they ran into the Darren Peterson should be the number 1 pick game.
Yep,
if
that's
you remember
right.
that. That's what put that conversation and put that on the map. And then the Texas Tech team, that was with JT Toppin. And we talked about it. If they still had JT Toppin, Texas Tech we could be talking about as a Final Four team. That was a team who could beat anybody with that team, with Anderson, with Toppin. So I don't think either of them have bad losses, and they have some pretty good wins. So I can't wait to watch that Final Four matchup.
Oh, it's gonna be incredible. Yeah, it's gonna be a heavyweight fight, which makes me want to mention the other game a little bit here too, because I don't know. Does it feel like a de facto national championship? Like for UConn, I feel like, again, we can't count UConn out. Illinois, I still think that I think they can be in a game with they've been in a game with Michigan this year. They lost to them, but they could be it. It would be a smaller path, I feel like, Steve, right? Like especially if they go cold shooting wise, like it could, but they have a lot of size too. Like that's
Illinois
the thing.
is the biggest team in the country by size. They're the biggest team in the country.
Oh, wow.
Their defense has been unbelievable in this tournament.
It's been a lot of effort.
I think they've been the best rated defense in the tournament so far this year. And there were some people being like, well, look at the road they had. I don't give a shit. I don't care about their road. They played Houston basically on a road game and embarrassed that team. Held that team to under 30% shooting for 3/4 of that game. And there was at one point when they went, I think it was an 18-0 run, and they got to 44 points. It was like 44-26 or something. And I texted my buddy, and I'm like, I don't know if Houston even gets to 44. I don't know if they're going to be able to score that much. And then, of course, as the game kind of goes on, teams start chucking threes. A couple of them finally go in. But that was pretty much a true road game. And I was very high on Houston. A lot of people were very high on Houston coming into this tournament. And once we saw Florida get knocked out by Iowa, and I was one of them, I was like, well, Houston's got pretty much 2 home games. They're just going to kind of cruise to the Final Four, and then we'll see what happens, who they play, from the East region.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Illinois said not so fast. And they made this Houston team that looks, what is Houston built on? What is the Kelvin Sampson's Houston team built on? Toughness, rebounding, forcing your team into other team into turnovers, making them uncomfortable, making them shoot cold. And Houston did that a little bit to Illinois, and Illinois did that better. They outworked them. They got out rebounded them. They forced Houston into some of the worst end of the shot clock shots you'll see. And this Illinois team has just proven that they're tough, man. And that's usually not what Illinois teams are. Usually Illinois teams are flashy, a lot of offensive weapons. And I talked about this team. I loved them coming into the season because I'm like, man, they got just a bunch of Europeans. This is just a Euro League team. And then they got a great freshman in Wagler, right? Keaton Wagler, who's incredible.
Oh my God,
Andrei Stojakovic has been unbelievable.
He's one
so
of my
far
favorite
in this
players
tournament.
to watch the tournament.
Me too. And I love watching him because you'll watch him be like, well, he doesn't play that like Peja. No, he's a driver, man.
No, he gets to the rim, bro.
He gets to the rim.
He finishes at the rim. You're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he can shoot too. He can shoot like his pops too, but he is an all-around type of offensive weapon. And I think that's what I love. They're a EuroLeague team, but they're a tough EuroLeague team. And as much as I don't want to doubt UConn anymore, I can't doubt Dan Hurley. I'm looking at both these games, and I'm like, I can't make up my mind. I'm picking Michigan because that's been my team all year, and I would feel unjust if I went against them. But I'm looking at this Illinois UConn game, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's
Well,
a flip of a coin for me.
it's funny. You're 100% right. I agree with you where it's going to be a rock fight. And you brought up the Illinois Houston, like Houston getting to 44 points. We were keeping track as we're watching, they got the little score box with Arizona, and Arizona for like most of the first half had more points than both teams combined, Illinois and Houston. Like it was a race the whole time. Like, Arizona took the lead back, they're up by, and Arizona was just cruising ahead of both teams. So, and that's what I feel like Saturday could be too, where Illinois and UConn could be like a game in the 50s and 60s, and the totals reflect 139 for Illinois UConn right now, 157 for Michigan Arizona,
which is crazy because those are both so good defensively too. But they're like their offense, you just can't stop it.
Can't stop it, and it's more. I could see that game still being like in the 80s and 90s, even if it's like a good like defensive efforts at the end, and everything, whatever. But it is going to be really interesting, I think, with the UConn size and how Hurley tries to attack them, and see what they can do, because I think both these teams will end up in lulls offensively at some point during the night, as what they've kind of done all tournament. And I'm interested to see how they respond in that. If you don't go down by 10, can one of these teams, we saw UConn can do it. We know they can come back from anything at this point. But the Shire, we got to talk about, I wanted to mention it before, but the last thing about that game is, that is like the biggest, we should just be blaming on John Shire. Like, you have to call a timeout to get the inbound right in that situation right away. I feel like just get the inbound right.
Yeah, I think getting the inbound right, but once they broke the first trap and once they broke the second trap, if you're John Shire, right, you're kind of looking at that. First off, if you're Boozer, you got to hold the ball. You got to get fouled.
That's true. I don't know why he's even really.
When you're seeing on the other end of the court two guys alone, how many times have we seen in college basketball games, they throw it up and the one guy catches it, takes two dribbles, dunks, game's over. I mean, we saw that in so many tournament games. So it's really hard for you to just call timeout, because you think of the other instance of it, right? What if that ball doesn't get tipped? He calls the timeout. They blow it dead. And if you're Duke, you think you have a guy who just has the ball in the open court, either expire the time or just dunk it, game's over. I mean, and also too, I think, sometimes people analyze a little too much. Dude, we're talking about a chance to go to the Final Four. You just blew a 19-point lead. This team has roared all the way back. You have freshmen majority on the court playing. Everything's moving so fast. You're not thinking about this. You in your head, right? What's the mental clock in your head? You don't know how much
it was definitely sped up on Caden in that moment. Absolutely. He thought those guys were like on hit, like he had no other choice but to do that. Yeah.
So I will never fault the place of just, obviously, people will be like, oh, the moment's too big. It's like, man, that is not an easy situation to just compose yourself and be like, oh, I just got to hold on. I just got to get fouled too. Because also, I know we're saying UConn's going to intensely foul. I don't know if they were just going to hack right away there. If Dan Hurley's having them go for the ball, because if they were going to intentionally foul right away, they're fouling the first pass on the inbounds. You're going right there, right? You're giving him the hug or you're giving him the hack, and they're at the line, and you're hoping he misses the free throws. So they were going for the steal. They were going for the ball, clearly. And also, too, you knew they were going for that, too, because they jump and they deflect it. If you're not going for if you're going for the foul there, you're just running and you're just trying to hit him. You're not anticipating a pass and jumping it. So I want to give UConn and Hurley a ton of credit for the way they played defense at the end of that game, the way they made Duke and these freshmen uncomfortable, and especially that last play. But I'm so tired of the discourse of oh, he should have known, but he should have done this. Dude, that game's moving a million miles per hour for him.
That's why I'm saying the coach needs to have a chance to settle the players down.
I agree.
That's where I think that he's got to. That's why I'm bringing that up, because I agree with you, because you can't put it on Caden and all of those players need it's a tough situation. He needed to rally them multiple times and didn't get them to stop. There's no reason they should have let up. They are too good of a team to let up that lead, even to that UConn team. And that squares down to the coach did not have, like, he just started getting worked. Like Hurley just had him, it was like in a boxing match, he just had him in the corner and just was like pummeling him. And it's like, man. And that's the difference that we can see in college. What's up, Dunny?
Yeah, no, it's just I think the Shire thing too. It's like the way they went out last year, the way they went out this year, and then honestly that pan to him on the sideline after the play happened was just so brutal, man. It was like just polar opposites, like, right? You have Hurley going absolutely nuts, Shire with this face on that's like, did that really?
He didn't really, he had no idea what he did, bro.
And it sure did, man. It, like, just back to Mullins, just even being able to hit that logo 3
Insane.
in that moment.
True.
Like nothing but nylon, dude. Like it was just bliss. Like it was pure March hoops right there. My last thought on the tournament here, just as a whole, probably one of my favorite parts about this entire tournament is I feel like every game I watched, there was at least 1 or 2 guys where I'm like, yep, like that guy will be making an impact next year on an NBA team. Like I feel like this, we already know it's a loaded draft, and particularly at the, in the lottery. But I just feel like there's like, 10, 15 guys that we watched this March that are going to be making a legit impact on NBA teams next year, maybe even closer to 20. And obviously you have, the drama with Peterson, Acuff, Debonsa, Boozer, like all those guys at the top. But I mean, just going down the list, man, like it was a fun tournament to get to know some of these guys as players a little better. And then just like being able to tell, like watching, 1-2 games of these guys, how much of an impact they're going to make at the next level. So really, really blessed tournament. Like you mentioned earlier, Steve, like just a lot of good games. Not a super chalky Final Four, but we're here, and I had a blast this tournament, dude.
It's been so much fun.
Me too. I had so much fun watching this. Like you said, Dunny, the potential pro talent that we saw displayed in this tournament was unbelievable. And we had a lot of great games. I know we're talking mainly about the Elite Eight games, but there were some great ones too. I mean, the Vanderbilt-Nebraska game was incredible. You're right. You had the Nebraska-Iowa game. Like there were just so many games, down the list you could name that were just fantastic. And 1 or 2 possessions can just go turn tournament either way. We'll go Wisconsin High Point from the first round. I mean, another fantastic game.
VCU, North Carolina.
Duke was down 11 to Siena at halftime. Yeah. Got Jerry McNamara the job at Syracuse. That game, that first half right there, probably got him the job at Syracuse. Like there were just so many good ones. The VCU North Carolina, right, was unbelievable.
Was insane.
And it's so funny, right, when you talk about the tournament, when you start going back, that game feels like it happened 4 months ago, Dunny. VCU North Carolina, that game, because we watched so much college basketball and so many good games with elite teams that game feels like it happened months ago. It's 2 weeks.
Crazy, bro.
I love the tournament, man. Just absolutely.
It's the blast.
Give me your guys' pick real quick. Real quick.
Well,
Final Four.
I've picked Michigan to win at the start, so I can't abandon them at this point. So I'm just gonna stick with it. Although I will be pulling hard on Saturday for the Illini, and if they get past UConn and that psycho Dan Hurley, all bets are off Monday night. Actually, I can't bet on it, so there's no bets off. But I think you guys take Michigan.
I'm going Michigan and Illinois.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a Big Ten natty in
I know.
Illinois?
It would
Like,
be crazy.
I just think everyone and their mother's going to be on UConn, and it's a good time for a Zag, and they're so fun, dude. They're so fun to watch. I mean, like we mentioned it. All 4 of these teams are so good to watch.
They're a EuroLeague team, man. Illinois is a EuroLeague team with a phenomenal freshman in Keaton Wagler. We're talking about guys who raised their draft stock. Wagler might be one of the biggest beneficiary to it.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like he wasn't nearly as well known at the start of the year. Then all of a sudden he was this 19-year-old kid who was just dominating these games. And like
plays at his own pace too, which I love.
Yeah. All these guys do that can score the ball for Illinois. And you mentioned too, like Stojakovic, like not necessarily the shooter his dad was, but he has this weird game too where he's kind of in between. Like he definitely likes to drive and slash, but he also has like this like little 1-footer like fade away when he's close because he's not the biggest guy, but he can like fall away and hit those shots too. So yeah, man, like you said, super tight spread on both these games. It might be a weekend for me where I just sit back and enjoy, maybe take some team totals, but I don't think I can touch a spread in either of these games.
I think I might touch Michigan just because, like I said, they've been the
Yeah.
team I'm just riding all year. I told you I have no idea in Illinois UConn, although I would love to see a Michigan UConn final.
It'd be crazy.
To see if Dan Hurley can basically get the dynasty 3 ships in 4 years, or is his second loss in 4 years just going to be to another champion and 2 of the most dominant teams we've seen in college basketball in recent memory. So either way, I think any combination would be just a fantastic national championship. So this is why I kind of love a little bit of chalk, right? We all love the Cinderella, we love the upsets, but you don't get these type of Final Fours if the Cinderella carries all the way through.
It's
Well
too
said.
good, man. Too good. And is that you guys have anything else on the Final Four before we get into the weeds of the MVP race in the NBA? All right, yeah. So look out for those games on Saturday, guys. And then obviously whatever the result is, Monday is going to be an absolute showdown. But let's get into the nitty gritty here, guys. We have the MVP race in the NBA. It's been 2 things all year long. It's seemingly been SGA has been the favorite all year long, but at the same time, we know that there's been 4, 5. I would say there's 6 guys total that have been kind of rotating in and out. Unfortunately for me as a Celtics fan, I don't think Jaylen Brown has a shot anymore. There was a few months span where that was a fun narrative, and before Tatum came back and him having the Celtics at the 2 seed. But as it stands right now here, I want to pull up the odds on DraftKings. So SGA is minus 360 at 1.
Disgusting.
Victor Wembanyama is plus 280 at 2. Luka Doncic plus 1,600 at 3. And then Jokic plus 7,000. So, and then you got Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards. Who Edwards missing tonight actually is not available for any awards, which is kind of crazy for all NBA stuff and
Such a
star. But yeah, so we got SGA, Victor, Luka, Jokic. I don't think any of us, if we had to vote, would be voting for Shea, which is kind of funny. Jake, unless you would, do you think SGA is the MVP? Let's start there. I know what Steve thinks, but
no, I just think he's gonna win it. I think here's where I sit with SGA is I am like in the middle of where, yes, I think he's really annoying and he's probably not the best player in the league, and also that I think he's an all-time guard and like he's also a very, very special offensive player. So like I think he's been awesome this year, and the thing that goes in his favor is that he hasn't had his running mate at all this year, really. Like J-Dub's been hurt most of the year, so they're going to give him some credit for that, but I don't think he's the most valuable player if we're talking what the award is most valuable. I truly think Wemby has the best. Like, what are the Spurs without Wemby this year? And you could say the same thing about Luka too, and I think that Steve will say the same thing. And then you go to the tiebreaker, which is the team record, and I would say that Wemby, they're just been a better team and more consistent this year, but also Luka's probably been more consistent. So I think both those guys have great cases. Jokic also, like, he just does what he does, and like I think people just are bored with him, so they're like, we're not going to give it to Jokic anymore or whatever. Like, so I do think SGA has like as a solid argument as much as any of these guys, but I think this race should be, and I think it should be like really split on all 4 of these guys, because I think there's 4 really good cases. Like, it's really splitting hairs for me as much as anything else. And then I think Jalen should get mentioned in here too. Like, even the fact that they all have deserving cases. So it's really tough, but I think I lean Wemby because I think I would say the impact that he has, especially defensively too, is just levels ahead of what most anybody else can do. But I'm not as opposed to the SGA cases as other people are. That's where I'm at with it.
I mean, I think it was a couple weeks ago. He was a minus 950 favorite. That's egregious.
that was ridiculous.
I'm sorry, but it's minus 360 is still egregious. It is still egregious. That is an overwhelming favorite. That is like a 10-point favorite in a football game. All right, that's like a 9-point favorite in a basketball game. That's egregious that he is minus 360.
Agreed.
He hasn't put up the numbers that the other three, but I guess he's put up better numbers than Wemby in terms of points. But Wemby's obviously rebounds, blocks, or whatever.
Yeah.
Luka has him in points. Luka has him in assists. Luka has him in rebounds. Jokic obviously has him in 3 because he's averaging a 28-point triple-double and leading the NBA in rebounds and assists per game. And for the first time ever, the NBA media has been like, well, defense matters just as much. Because that wasn't the case when when Jokic won his. There was crickets on that. That wasn't the case. They moved the goalposts constantly. Yeah, and I'm so tired of it. If you just want to say we're just picking the best player on the best team, then just change the award. Because the discourse on Jokic right now is, well, the Nuggets haven't been as good this year. Okay. Like, that wasn't the case when Jokic won his first couple. They weren't the 1 seed in the West. Like, What are we doing here? That conversation started when Luka should have won in 24. And they were like, well, he's not. The Mavs haven't been that good. It's like, well, yeah, but then they were the second best team in the NBA in the second half of the season, and then you changed your whole tone on that. Luka has been putting up juggernaut numbers, especially in this month. Luka's going to have the most player of the months and the most player of the weeks in the NBA. Do you guys know, fun fact, in the last 10 years, the only person who did not win MVP, who had the most player of the months and player of the weeks in the NBA?
I do know.
2024, Luka Doncic.
I do, yeah.
2024, Luka Doncic. So we're just going to keep moving the goalposts. Now they're saying he can't play defense. Well, he led in steals this past month, which I know steals doesn't just equate to defense, but he was getting defensive player of the month votes. What are we talking about here? And not only that, too, the fact that, like, we're just forgetting about Jokic. Like, I understand that the Nuggets haven't been, as dominant as the Thunder or Spurs this year. But look at the teams around them right now. Look at what everything he's had to do with. This dude is averaging 27.7, 13 rebounds a game. He's averaging 11 assists as a center. As a center, his numbers just keep getting better year after year. And people are like, he's 70-1 to win the MVP, and Shea's minus 360. This is going to be a situation. If Shea wins it, we're going to look back 20 years from now on Basketball Reference or whatever site is going to have all the stats and all the awards compiled and be like, how the hell did he win it? How the hell did he win it? Also, too, Luka, who won Player of the Week, fell from 2nd to 4th in the MVP ladder, which is the stupidest thing of all time. If I see that NBA ladder pop up one more time weekly, I'm going to lose my mind. It makes no sense. How could you
NBA.com one?
Yeah, the MVP
the NBA.com
ladder,
one. Not to mention the Lakers were 15-2 during that month. Like, it's not like the Lakers are struggling and he's putting up these numbers. He's doing it in meaningful games. And I get Shea's been great, and I get he's been great at the end of the games, and I get he shot 24 free throws the other night. I understand that. But, like, we're talking about the Thunder, the defending champs. I get J-Dub hasn't been there the whole way, but Chet's been fantastic. This has been Chet's best season. Like, the Thunder are a very, very good team. The Thunder were the favorites to win the NBA Finals. So the fact that they're going right around, where their preseason expectations were, doesn't really.
He was also to play devil's advocate. He was also the MVP favorite to start the year, and is a big reason that they were the
because
favorite.
the NBA loves him. They love him. He could do no wrong. Do no wrong.
Well, yes,
them.
They do. They clearly love him. You're saying 24 free throws is a lot? Come on. I get those numbers up.
I get the Wemby argument because the Spurs have been fantastic, but let's also not pretend like that the Spurs have nobody around Wemby and he's carrying a bad team. This is a good Spurs team. This is a really good Spurs team. Stephon Castle's been awesome. De'Aaron Fox has been awesome. But he's a good Spurs team. And Wemby's been great, and his defense has been incredible. But he's had a lot of games where he's kind of like shied away a little bit offensively. Like he's averaging almost 10 points less a game than Luka, which in basketball the objective is to score the ball. I don't know if that's a fact anymore with these NBA media analysts. And he's been great. But the team that's exceeded expectations of these top four have been the Lakers. People didn't even think this was going to be a playoff team, and LeBron's been a no-show for most of the year.
I think that's Luka's biggest argument, in my opinion, for his MVP case, because you're right, man. And I don't like how the narrative's kind of changed on the Lakers the last month or so, where let's not pretend 2-3 months ago everyone was clowning the Lakers. When Reeves first got injured and was coming back from injury, and then Braun was dealing with some stuff. There was some serious clown show stuff going on with the Lakers, and they were kind of being dismissed. Then all of a sudden, they passed the Nuggets, and here they are at the 3 seed. And most of, if not all of that, is because of Luka. And then you mentioned the month he's had, the 60-point game, he's doing a little bit of everything. And now when he gets 40 plus, it's the most casual thing in the world. I feel like people aren't even talking about it.
The only reason Luka's not gonna get it, is because these voters all hate his ref behavior, and they all despise it, and they all hold it against him. I know you don't like it.
I know.
Steve.
That's
know all it is. That's what it comes down to.
I'm well aware what they don't like. It still drives me nuts.
I tried looking into this earlier. I couldn't really find it. It was only a little bit before we hopped on, so sure I could have done a little more research, but it's not public knowledge who all the voters are, is it? For the MVP? I know some Russillo says that he has a vote. I know a lot of the guys will just say it on their shows.
I don't know if you can find out what they voted on unless they say it, but I think you can find out who voted it.
Who the voters are?
Yeah,
afterwards, but do you know year to year, before the vote happens?
That's a good question.
I don't think so. I tried looking it up. I couldn't find it. It just said 10 media members. And
I have last year. I found a list from last year.
It's probably not too dissimilar.
I would imagine it's here MVP voters.
But that's always been interesting to me too. It was kind of cool that Russillo just broke down his opinion. He didn't say necessarily who he is going to be voting for just yet, but the breakdown of his thoughts was kind of cool. And it depends. Like you said, Jake. There's guys who blatantly dislike Luka Doncic and aren't very shy about the way they feel.
No, not at all. Windhorst.
I was gonna say everyone remembers Windhorst from the 24 finals.
Who was
Wendy's never gonna vote for Luka in this award. Ever.
Who was the guy on the Bill Simmons podcast that said he's his least favorite basketball player?
That was Chuck Klosterman. He don't have a
no, but I'm so tired of these videos.
That's crazy.
Tired of these videos. It's insane to me. If any other player was doing this, they would be going crazy. They're just reaching for anything they could use against this guy now. What does he have to do? They play the Thunder tonight. It's a lose-lose situation. If he doesn't go nuts and they don't win, then everyone's going to be like, see, we told you so, even though they're just going to ignore everything he's done for the past 2 months. If he does win, they'll be like, well, maybe Wemby should be MVP now. Shea can't beat the Lakers. Maybe Wemby should be. There's no win situation for Luka. He should have 2 MVPs in the past 2 years. He's going to get nothing. This guy's still trying to say he's not going to be first team.
He better not shoot more free throws than Shea tonight, man. I'm telling
you. Shea. Here's the thing. Luka's going to have 45 and Shea will have 38 and Shea will have it on 28 free throws or some bullshit like that.
It is, surprisingly enough, I did look while we've been recording. They have the same amount of free throw attempts a games, which was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Luka gets to the line for sure.
Shea's not doing the thing with Shea is he's not doing it every game. There's just some games where it's he's doing it tonight and he's doing it the rest of the night, and that's what he's gonna do.
The way he gets to the line in some of those games, man. The way he gets to the line in some of those games.
I know it's nasty.
Oh, it's deplorable, dude.
And I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a great player. He's fantastic. He's been one of the clutchest players this year. He's been unbelievable in the fourth quarter. He's a great player. But, oh, my God, dude, the whistle sometimes drives me through the roof. And it's just like, I don't understand how they can just ignore that and just not care about that. And it's just like, oh, no, he's the MVP. It's locked in, blah, blah, blah. And
You know
then
what it
just
is? You know what it is, Steve? We'll have
no,
a
I
larger
don't want.
conversation about it at some point.
Mm.
You don't want. You don't want. Do you want to hear this?
Go ahead. I'm going to get mad.
It's the fact that the guy running the whole thing basically makes the wrong move every time. So the way this dude's getting, they could fix it. They know they should fix it, but they love the controversy of it and they love the control of it. So they're like, all right, let's keep it rolling. I think we need to start a petition to get rid of Adam Silver.
Yeah.
Get him impeached. How can we do this? How can we put power to NBA Twitter? It's nasty work out here.
It is. It's a highlight.
It makes me mad because I know he is so good, and a lot of like the clutch stuff is because he can just get to spots, and that's why it's so hard to guard him. But he's also so good; he knows all the little things he can do to just go to the line if that's what he feels like doing, and he feels like doing it more often than anybody would like. Except Thunder fans, I guess. But
I think what gets me so mad about this thing is it's not like if it was any other sport, I feel like, and we had these 4 seasons next to each other, I feel like the odds would be minus 180, plus 150, plus 175, plus 200. Like, we don't know what this is going to go. Like, 1 or 2 games could change this because that's how dominant they've all been. And the way the odds in the NBA media has portrayed it is like, no, it's Shea's to lose. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not his to lose because I don't think he's in front. I genuinely don't think he's front. If it was up to me, obviously I'm going to pick my guy Luka because he's robbed of 2024. But I would have Wemby ahead of Shea, and I would argue that I could put Jokic ahead of Shea. And I know I know he's fallen out of it, but I don't think Jaylen Brown is as far off from these 4 as it looks right now.
43 last night.
43 last night, and I know Tatum's back now, so it kind of doesn't help him as much, or his case as much, I should say. Obviously, having Tatum back helps him. It's an MVP case, but no one. Besides, me and Dunny, because we know ball. No one expected the Celtics to be where they are. And no one, besides me and Dunny, because we know ball, expected Jaylen Brown to have the season he did. Nobody was talking about that this season. You know what they were talking about? Oh, the Thunder. This could be a 10-year dynasty. Look at how good this team is. And guess what? Knock, 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 knock. San Antonio's right in the rearview mirror. But that's not the Thunder's fault. That's just how good the Spurs have been. And I get the Thunder have been fantastic. They're a fantastic team. We knew this coming into the year. Nothing's changed. Nothing Shea has done this year has been a jump from last year where I'm like, wow, he's playing at another level. Nothing. And I get that's the same case with Jokic. Jokic is just boring us now. It's like, oh, what did he do last night? Oh, 32, 15, and 15. Yawn. It's crazy that's how we're reacting to it, but it's true because he's been doing that for 6 years. He technically could have a case to win 6 straight MVPs, but we're not going to get into that. Luka has been playing at another level this year and has had the Lakers at another level, a team that some people didn't even have in the playoff picture. Wemby has the Spurs fighting for the 1 seed where it feels like the Thunder from a couple years ago ahead of schedule. And Jaylen Brown has the Celtics where people thought this might have been a lost season, potentially coming out of the East.
No, they're coming out. They're coming out of the East.
I know.
I'll write it down.
You get what I'm saying? The only one that hasn't been the big jump change has been the Thunder. Yeah, the Thunder, a great team. Thunder were a great team last year.
But his level was MVP last year too. So if they're saying he's at his level, then his level is still MVP.
Sure, and that's why he should be in the conversation. That's not why he should be the minus 950 weeks ago overwhelming favorite. And the fact that he's still minus 360, that they're still like, oh, no,
Wemby's within range, though. Wemby's within range.
Which is crazy that he's the only one within range.
But it is turning into more of the NFL if the teams are like, because that's why those two guys' odds are so. I agree, but that's why their odds are so much higher or lower, because they're 60 and 58 win teams. That's it.
But you also have to take into account expectations too, right?
Yeah.
Look at the expectations. Like I said, you could argue Jaylen Brown in this group as well because of the expectations of the Celtics coming into the year. The team that has exceeded the expectations out of these 4 teams or these 5 teams you want to throw Jaylen Brown has been the Lakers. And it's been with LeBron not being, LeBron. Like I just don't understand. But the thing that drives me nuts is the moving the goalpost. It's stats one year. It's like, no, it's not. It's winning record one year. No, it's not. Now it's defense. Now, no, it's not. It's like, no. Now you just got to be like the best team in the league, or we don't care about you. And that's what drives me nuts. That's what drives me nuts, because 3-4 years ago when Jokic won it, they didn't care what place the Nuggets were in. They watched the games like, oh, this guy's incredible. But now they were in the highlight league. It's just moving the goalpost, and it frustrates me. And I'm not just frustrated, like I said, that Luka's not the favorite. If it was up to me, he'd be the favorite. I think he's proven that for pretty much the entire year. It's the fact that Shea has been the overwhelming favorite for literally the entire season. It's like they made up their mind before the first game of the regular season, and as long as he plays enough games, he's going to win it. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I think you liked my tweet like a month ago at this point now, because I couldn't believe it. I check the odds for MVP like once every 2 days because I have a Jalen future and a Wemby future. So I'm just like constantly looking. I'm just constantly looking at the odds, and yeah, I was just literally blown away when a month ago, Shea was nearly minus 1,000 to win the award with so much basketball left to play, and and what feels like the tightest MVP race we've had in years, where I know the Luka one from 24 was probably a little more contentious and tighter, but I mean tighter between, you could legitimately argue at different points of this season with 5 guys. You could probably argue 5 guys right now if Cade wasn't going to miss out on the awards because he's going to miss too many games.
Shameful.
So we're just at a crazy point with this, and I don't think he should be that much of a favorite. I still don't even think he should be minus 300 or minus 350, whatever he is right now. I do think Shea's biggest case for him, at least the thing that I respect the most about his stats this year, it's not that he's second in scoring. The clutch stuff definitely helps, but the fact that this dude's shooting 55% from the field is pretty incredible. Because you look at like Wemby,
it's 66% true shooting. It's 2 of 3 shots go in.
And like Wemby and Luka are up there too. Like I was gonna applaud Wemby for being at 50 because people should say that he should be higher, but Wemby is 7'4" and takes almost 6 threes a game. So the fact that he's shooting 50%, I think, is actually impressive, even though he's that big. But 55% from Shea is pretty incredible.
It is.
And then obviously, he has the steals in there too. Like he 1.5 a game nearly for him. The crazy thing about Wemby is he still leads the league in blocks by a mile, and this is his lowest block total or block average of his career. Like he's coming in at 3.1 the last 2 years, 3.8, 3.6.
And you are aware too, Dunny, that Luka has more steals than SGA, right? You just I know you said he has the steals there too. You are aware of that,
yeah,
right?
No, I'm with you, man. Luka's
that up there.
Luka's pleasantly surprised me with the defense this year. Hey, look, man, when the Celtics play the Lakers and when they played the Mavs, I think from that 24 finals, like I'll just always, as a fan, like have a rivalry in my head when the Celtics play Luka Doncic, and that's definitely when I'm hoping that Luka has bad games. But I mean, I love watching Luka as much as the next guy, man. Like, and we have the clip from last year when I was like, shout out the Lakers, man. Like I find myself doing that from time to time when I'm watching this squad, because Luka is that damn good, and it would suck, man. Like, you don't know how many of these seasons you're going to get from a guy like this. And I would argue that he was robbed in 24, and it would be tough to see there's a potential that he's not even top 2 in this year's race. For a guy averaging 34, 8 and 8, and he's no slouch to the shooting percentage either. He takes over 10 threes a game, and he's right at 48% shooting as well. So, yeah, it's tight. It's not so dissimilar to the Final Four that we're talking about. Like this, it could be anyone's race. It's close games, close race. Like it's tough to say.
It could be a big moment tonight if Luka if he put up something crazy like 50, 60, like that'd be.
Then Wemby, congrats on Wemby's MVP. Congrats on Wemby's 2026 MVP. If Luka goes nuts, Wemby should be the biggest beneficiary, and Luka probably will stay 4th in the MVP ladder. That's what'll happen.
Don't worry about that ladder. I've been telling you this for years. Don't worry about the ladder.
Oh, I will always worry about that ladder. That ladder has triggered me for 3 straight years, Jake, and it'll continue to.
I feel that. I have to log on. And no disrespect, Jake, but the amount of times this year that I've seen that ladder from an account posting it and be like, per NBA.com, and Donovan Mitchell is above Jaylen Brown on there.
Disgusting.
Like, what are we doing?
Why is Donovan Mitchell?
What are we doing?
When you mentioned his name, I almost was just like, why? But I didn't want to talk about the Cavs at all. So you
guys know I'm the biggest Duran guy out there. Mm-hmm. He's been above Jaylen Brown at times this year on the MVP race. I'm like, the Pistons can't have 2 MVP guys over Jaylen Brown. We're just not doing that.
It's because, Dunny, they hate the Celtics and they hate the Lakers.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
They do. It is tough.
All right. Well, now we have to do the hardest part. Well, it's easy for Steve. You already said it. Jake, if you had a vote, if you had to write it down, put it in the ballot right now, the 3 of us are the voters. Who are we going with? Steve, obviously, we know Steve's. He doesn't even have a piece of paper in front of him. It's just right from his brain into the bucket. It's just Luka.
I'm probably going with Wemby.
All right, I would do the same.
Yeah.
If I had a vote.
I think Wemby is defensive player of the year, and he's just so like people don't even try to go to the paint. His stats, he'd have more blocks if teams actually tried to go to the paint and take shots on
That's
him.
why it's gone down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People are like, holy fuck.
They're not even touching it.
He actually is going to block that if I throw this up right now.
I think I think that matches Steve's criteria of the over expectations with also.
I agree.
He could win 65 games.
I just think
right there with the Thunder.
I think at some point stats have to matter a little bit, and I think Wemby's points obviously only averages like 3 assists. Rebounds are obviously crazy because Wemby and blocks help, but I just think that's so much lower than the other 3.
You're right.
That I think that hurts him a little bit.
But
he's had more games, many more games than Jokic, Luka, and SGA, where not that he disappears offensively, but where he takes a backseat. He's the 3rd option. That does not happen for these guys.
There were some December, January games with Wemby where it was like, what the hell is going on right now?
12 points, 8 rebounds. Like, what?
Yeah.
And sure, he did probably have 5 blocks in that game.
Yeah.
But it's not like he's not making an impact. But I think that's where it's like, all right, at what point do we be like, all right, they still got to put up the numbers? Because I agree, Wemby and the Spurs' expectations and everything and his impact defensively. I mean, I think I said this, that he's not going to get Defensive Player of the Year his first season because they're just going to give it to him the next 10. When he came into the league, and it's just how it is, because that's how good he is defensively. He can guard any position. Nobody wants to even look at him when he's in the paint. You guys are right on that. But I think at some point, like, you got to pull weight to certain things. And at some point, like, the stats got to matter a little bit. Like, the fact that people are just, dismissing Jokic. I mean, my God, dude, he's leading in rebounds and assists per game in the entire league. The entire league, he's leading in rebounds and assists per game. And he's still putting up 7.7 points. And we want to talk about SGA's shooting splits. Look at his shooting splits. Right? And it's one of those things where, like, all right, what do we value the most this season? And we've had this conversation, Jake. I think you and I had it about the NFL MVP. What are they valuing the most this season? And it just feels like it changes every single year. And I'm not trying to point fingers here. No, I actually am trying to point fingers at the NBA media. It always seems like they try to move it in the way that doesn't benefit Mr. 77, Mr. Luka Magic. And you know what? You're running out of ways to move the goalposts because he's doing everything. He's doing everything at this point.
Well, what they haven't done, Steve, though, is win 60 games. So when Luka does that, then he gets the MVP. You got to get him to 60 wins.
Do you think that's true? They're going to move it next year. Like, well, the Lakers. We knew the Lakers were going to be this good. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, my biggest case for Wemby is I truly believe this, and I think it's a weird way of looking at it. Maybe the other voters don't think this. I think if you took every other best player off their team and you went down the list and put Wemby on those teams, and you did the same thing with all the other MVP candidates, I think Wemby would make all those other teams better, if that makes sense, than the other guys if you did the same thing with them.
You think the Spurs would be worse with Jokic?
Yes.
Yeah, because teams don't go on the paint at all, man.
Yeah, I know. But saying that Jokic with that team around him with those shooters would be worse is kind of crazy.
Well, not even necessarily like – so I think you could argue that one, but I'm saying there would be more teams – Wemby would do that for more teams than the other guys. I'm not saying every single team would be better with Wemby. I'm just saying the number of teams that would be the best with Wemby is greater than if you did that with all those other
I don't know how many teams would be worse or not better if you switch their starting point guard with Luka. Because we were talking about this Lakers team before Luka, like this is a disaster. And even coming into this year, we were like, what? Guys, we had this conversation literally last year, like before they got Luka. What are the Lakers going to do? What's the future look like for this team?
If they were running Reeves and Wemby, they'd be all right.
They'd be okay.
They'd be. I think Reeves could average mid-20s points if he wasn't dealing with Luka. Like that's how talented he is. So if you got two guys averaging like 25 points a game, then you're gonna be also winning mid-50s games.
I disagree. I will disagree on that. I think the Lakers, the reason they've gone 15-2 past months because somebody's been taking over every single game.
You're right. There's nothing wrong with that. What you said there. The Spurs have won 10 games in a row though too. While this is happening.
Yeah, what's the Wemby stat in the games is crazy. It's like they've won like their last like 21 of 23 when Wemby plays or some shit.
I think what the voters are saying, if it ends up SGA Wemby 1 and 2 and Jokic Luka 3 and 4 in some capacity, the voters are telling us we don't value volume stats as much as we value winning and efficiency.
Right, but
I don't agree with that.
They did value that a few years ago.
I know, and they've changed it. I agree, but that's what the theme has been the last couple of years because, and it changed up on Luka for sure. But they did. But that's. I mean, I think they're scarred by the James Harden, Russell Westbrook debacle of all of that, and they just avoid the.
But they earned it those years.
I know.
And I'm not a James Harden guy. He earned it that year. You watch his game, like the Westbrook. Go look at Westbrook's like game log for that year. He won MVP. It's unbelievable.
Oh, nothing makes me more mad than when people try to fucking. You guys know how I feel about Russ.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dunny and I could spend another 3 hours defending Russell Westbrook. I'm right there with you, but it's crazy, dude.
You know what the best part about this MVP race is? It is just such a bad look for the Eastern Conference. They're the top 4 guys in the West and the top 4 seeds in the West. It's just like, and the East has been getting close. Like people have been saying this year, because it's crazy, dude. The top 10 teams in the Eastern Conference have 40 wins. Mm-hmm. And obviously we still have some games to go here, but the 1 through 4 seed in the West having all the MVP candidates is pretty funny. But those would be our votes. Before we end the show, did you guys catch any of the Heat Celtics game last night?
I saw the box score, Dunny. That's all. I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, I'll let Dunny do his little victory lap."
I had a -4.5 for the Celtics, so that was a nice, easy win.
Is he all the way back? Is Tatum all the way back, Dunny?
It's tough to say because I don't want to say that, and then he has I think the shooting still needs to come a little. But last night, I mean, shit, man, he was on fire last night. Just for the people who didn't see or don't know what I'm referring to, last night Jason Tatum had 25 points, 18 rebounds, 11 assists, first triple double of the season. Something SGA hasn't done this year, by the way. Just saying. But no, man, it's incredible. And Dan Greenberg, Celtics writer for Barstool, and just like the all-time Celtics like mutual to follow on Twitter. He's a great follow if you're a Celtics fan out there. But he posted this, I think, last year, 24-25 season. Tatum's drives were like 10.3 a game. Since his return, 10.4 a game. So this is a guy who's 11 months removed from an Achilles injury, an Achilles tear where he had to get it repaired, and he's driving more than he did last year. He's averaging 21 and 10 right now with 5 assists and 40% shooting. And the 40% shooting, not that that's something to brag about, but if you watch some of those first games, he was shooting the ball horribly. Mm-hmm. And it's just so crazy to me, man. The year JB's had. A couple weeks ago, I talked about how blessed I am to be able to watch these two, but now with Tatum back and looking like this, I'm starting to think some crazy things. Jake, you kind
it's
of
not crazy.
But
it's not a crazy thing. They should be the runaway favorite. You're talking about the Eastern Conference, like it's going to be a contest for that Celtics team at full strength. This was the dream scenario. And especially the way the East was playing out, the Celtics were just licking their chops as Tatum was improving faster and faster. And they're like, oh, he's actually going to come back. It's so much confidence exuding from that team now, too, because they know that like the East is ripe for the picking for the Boston Celtics.
Even more so now with the question marks around the Pistons, too.
Yep.
Right? And that's a Pistons team that if the season ended today would be playing either Cleveland or Atlanta in the second round. I wouldn't want to play either.
You kidding me? James Harden's going to be in Atlanta for a playoff series?
Atlanta's one of the hottest
teams
in the league right now, too.
It's over. Game 4 in Atlanta. You know what James Harden's stat line's going to be? We will bet all the unders for a Game 4 in Atlanta.
Magic City, baby.
Oh, my God.
No, but
Atlanta's been incredible. I don't want to play them. If I'm the Pistons with, who knows what you're going to get from Cade.
I know. That's the thing is because Cade's injury, like that's going to, even when he comes back, it's going to stick around the whole run.
Yeah, I know I was clowning the East a couple minutes ago and I was talking about the MVP and how the West is still kind of king in that regard. But the Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be like starting at the play-in is going to be pretty bananas because you have this Hornets team who started the year about I'm not even going to say as bad as you can. They just started the year as the Charlotte Hornets, the team
that's who we thought they would be.
The team we've learned about the last decade that they're just going to be bad. That's how they started the year, and then in January and February, they're one of the best teams in the association, and now they're still the 8th seed. Like they still have to make it through the play-in to get a playoff spot, and then that obviously shakes out who both the Pistons and the Celtics will play in the first round. God damn, dude, I was thinking about this the other night, and I was hoping to not bring it up on this pod this week, but. They were our hot takes, but I don't even know if you guys remember yours. I just know one of mine. I said the Orlando Magic were going to be a top 4 seed.
Oh, I do remember.
And God damn, was I off.
Well, we got to remember next year that Franz is going to get hurt at some point because this is now, it's just happened too many times and it's just killed them. And Paolo, he's not carrying this year.
I mean, it's not going to happen now because the Bucks are just that bad and they're 9.5 games back. They can't even make it in the play-in at this point. And the Magic have clinched, but they're doing their best to not even be in the play-in. They're 2-8 in their last 10. Obviously still have some talent there, but between the Heat, Hornets, and Raptors, like interesting stuff there. Then you have the Sixers, who they could fall into the play-in depending on how these last games go. And then we talked about it, like the drama at the top of the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are weirdly who knows what's going on with the Knicks? Some Brunson and Cat drama like there always seems to be. Yeah, man, it's fun. JT being back like this, I'm with you, Jake. It's hard to think this way because I don't want to jinx anything, but it's hard to imagine a world where they don't make it to the finals with this team and how they look right now.
I can't see it. I can't see any of these East teams. Yeah, it's the perfect scenario. I just don't see it. And I want them to do it because at least then the finals will be good. Because even if the Knicks make the finals against the Spurs or the Thunder, it's over, bro. The Cavs, no. The Pistons, no. Like the Celtics, I could see putting up a fight at the very least.
I could see them winning.
Yes.
I could see them
absolutely
winning a series against those teams.
That game against the Thunder last week, man, that had me.
Had you feeling good?
Having
Probably
all the feels. Bro.
Oh,
next year, I'm just praying for health. And then next year we can get a Celtics-Pacers Eastern Conference Finals like that we've deserved. Should have had this year, honestly, probably with that team. And maybe they'll have DeBanza or something on their team next year and just be
I know they're gonna have yeah.
Who was it? Did you see the clip? This is the last thing, and then we can go here. Did you see the clip about the guy he was on Colin Cowherd's podcast? I can't remember, but just talking about DeBanza, and he's like he's gonna end up on the Utah Jazz. Like he thinks that the lottery will get rigged for the Utah because Ryan Smith basically made him go to paid his way to Utah Prep, paid his way to
there's
BYU.
All these connections.
Yeah,
dude, he got paid what, like I want to say $9 million to go to BYU.
I think
that's
the
absurd,
reported amount's like $7 to $9 million. It's somewhere in that range.
Absurd. So
he's so much fun to watch too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I could,
dude.
If Danny Ainge just always known, he's like, I'm getting the league's gonna rig AJ DeBanza for me.
And think about who Ainge drafted, man. Brown and Tatum. Like
I know
DeBanza's in that archetype. Like he's in that field of the big.
They'd have DeBanza and Marketing or in Triple J. Oh my God, bro.
It'd be fun next year. And honestly, their young guards are good.
George too.
Good.
Yeah,
George, they're good. Filipowski's actually been playing pretty good lately.
They'll have Walker Kessler next year too.
Yeah, that's right. They could be
interesting stuff.
Sneaky fun team. Sneaky fun.
Didn't think we'd end the pod talking about the Utah Jazz, but
can I give one more name? Bryce Sensabaugh has been a bucket.
Yes, he has.
He's been an actual.
He was a great fantasy flyer.
Yes, he was
times this year.
Dude's scoring like 30 a night right now. Granted, he's playing with nobody on the court, but he's been a bucket, and sometimes that's all it takes, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's how Dunny Avdia got his role. That's how he got like. You're on a horrible team. At the end of the year, when the Wizards a few years ago and just start putting up numbers, they're like, maybe we should play this guy more. So you never know.
Never know.
Never know, man. So, yeah, we got an incredible Final Four, an MVP race for the ages. Big one tonight, guys. Go tune into Thunder Lakers. Watch Luka have another 60 bomb on SGA's head for Steve's sake. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Trainwreck Sports. Go subscribe to the YouTube and follow us on all socials at Happy Hour Hoops 1. Later, guys.